I've sat on this for a while because I don't particularly want to lose my job. As a doctor in the NHS, I've always stood against racism, I've stood against sexism, against misogyny. I remember in my second year of working on obstetrics and gynecology, a midwife walked into the staff room. She said, "Have you seen that patient's husband? He's as black as that bin bag." And I remember being horrified. I remember standing up and everybody was silent and saying, "Did you just say that?" She said, "I didn't mean it in a bad way. I mean, that's literally the case." I left the staff room and I told her, "I can't be in the same room as you," after you said that and justified it. I remember chasing the matron. I remember forcing a meeting where the matron told me, "Oh, the midwife, she's really good. She has lots of black friends." I remember this happening around BLM time. Now, 3-4 years later, I have a senior approach me to tell me that I was talking about Palestine to another colleague and somebody overheard us and it made them uncomfortable. Now, I've been quite quiet about the genocide and about Palestine at work because our workplaces in the NHS, our hospitals, have urged us to not talk about it, to not show solidarity in the form of lanyards, pins or anything, and to not take sides. And we know there's no sides in a genocide. There's no sides in the face of 15,000 Palestinian children being murdered by the Israeli occupation forces. We know that actually our silence now means that we're silent in the face of hospitals being bombed. We're silent in the face of 500 medical staff being killed by the Israeli occupation forces. We're silent against a theatre nurse, a Palestinian theatre nurse, being sniped whilst he was operating in theatre in Al Nasser Hospital. And if we're silent against this, we're setting a precedent. Where this genocide on Gaza and on the Palestinian people ends, this is where anything beyond that will start. How will we say don't bomb hospitals after this if we can't say it now? How can we say don't murder medical staff who are literally saving lives if we can't say it now? Or are we going to be able to say it if it's happening in the West or if it's happening to white people? I would want my colleagues internationally and in this country to say no and to stand against it if this was happening to me and to my patients. I would want there to be an uproar in the medical community internationally against these war crimes and against the systematic targeting of the healthcare system that we're seeing in Gaza. 36 hospitals. You cannot just bomb this many hospitals. You cannot watch patients dying from injuries that we are able to manage day in, day out. You cannot watch medical aid be stopped by Israel and not be able to be received by Palestinians and not say anything. How will we ever be able to say no to that? Because do we think it's just going to happen to Palestinians and it just won't happen again? Now, I was told by my senior that what I said made whoever complained about it uncomfortable. I was told I didn't say anything wrong. The interesting thing is I've had discussions about Palestine with my Jewish colleagues who are pro-Palestinian, who are against what's happening, who also want to see the end of the occupation, who want to see the dismantling of Zionism. The anti-Semitism in the NHS, weaponization of that is very tired and very old because we see our Jewish colleagues, we see our Jewish comrades saying, "Not in my name, do not weaponize my religion in order to justify this genocide." By being told to be silent, the only people that we're really benefiting are Zionists, the people who stand with the Israeli occupation forces as they commit these crimes. I don't think that I could be a doctor, I could be myself, I could want to do good in the world and be silent about this. These are discussions we're having with colleagues. This is where we just mention about national marches or about horrific news that we've heard. We are not talking about this in front of patients. This is just our freedom of speech in our staff rooms that is being impacted. I've already had troll sites on Twitter and Instagram threaten me. I've had a reporter from the Jewish Chronicle send me an email to say that a post that I made in November on Instagram will spark concerns of anti-Semitism in the NHS. And I responded and I heard nothing from this person because that was just another attempt at silencing me from a reporter of a journal that we know many of their articles had to be revoked and where they've had to apologize for defamation. In order to silence NHS staff, we're being threatened with our jobs and our income and our careers. And I feel that actually if I were to have a doctor, if you were to have a doctor, would you rather have a doctor who's silent about these crimes, or would you rather a doctor who champions human rights, who champions the upholding of international law, who wants to see an end to a genocide where 70% of those who are murdered are women and children Did you want a doctor who is impartial in the face of a genocide? The worst part of this all is that the senior who came to tell me this is Palestinian. And that's why I'll never forgive this system for forcing my Palestinian senior to come and tell me, an Arab Muslim, part Palestinian doctor, to not talk about Palestine. And this is only happening because of the silence of everybody else. If everybody talked about it and said, no, it's our duty to talk about it, it's our duty to raise awareness, it's our duty to say that as medical staff who are here to save lives, who care about the integrity of human life and about healthcare, we must say something against this. I will not forgive this system for forcing my Palestinian senior to come and tell me this, fully knowing that this hurts them just as much as it hurts me. Free Palestine.